Hello again, it's Noob, and this is one of my most favourite locks. Now, if you know me and my channel, you know that I love dual key locks, mostly because they're rare and I just think they are super cool. With these locks, you normally have a key which is the operator's key and a master key. So if you had a suite of these locks, you can hand out the operator's keys to whoever you want to for a specific lock. And this is the operating key for this. You'll see it's actually got a little step at the back. That's the warding. So open it up. There we go. What I don't have is the key for the other side. Now, you probably can't tell. I don't know whether you might be able to. You can just see a little bit of a warding step at the back of the post just there. But there isn't one here. So I can put the key in and it sort of turns, but it doesn't open the lock. That's because I need a master key. Now, you might be thinking, well, impression one. So, yeah, I did. I tried very hard to impression a key, but the first place I went to get some keys, I could only find these. I don't want to call them aluminium. They're not aluminium, but they're like a really poor quality steel. And I tried very hard to impression these. The first one is this one, and well, what you do is you basically file off the backs of the key. You push up against the lever pack like this. It leaves a mark on the binding levers. You file it off, and the reason you put a slant on the back of the cuts is so that the metal will fold slightly over when you push it up against the levers. One of the issues is that these are a piped key, which makes them weak. So this one was my first attempt. It was terrible. Yuck, didn't work. This one, I felt it was actually going quite well. But then this happened. Look at that. These piped keys are very weak across here. So I thought, well, I could probably get this if I had a strong enough, maybe brass piped key. But maybe there was an easier way. And I was really proud of this one. Look at that nice filing on the back. It's, I was doing so well. Anyway, turns out that one of my local key cutters had a beautiful, look at this brass blank, and it is piped. And they cut this for me, and this one actually works just as nicely. There we go, on this side. So that's lovely. Again, it won't work on this side, but I did manage to get another blank. Now, full disclosure, I did file down the blade and the tip here, just so it would be the same width, like that. For the purposes of this video, just sped it up a bit. So it goes in there, it's nice and smooth. But what a beautiful looking key blank. Now, I had to think about this. How can I possibly get a copy of a key I don't have for this side? Well, if you look down here, and I'll try and get the light in for you. So you can see here how the operating key, the operator's key, lifts up this lever pack, and there are 5 levers and obviously the bolt step on the key as well. So there's 5 lever steps and a bolt step. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levers going across from 1 to 5, and then the bolt at the back. Now, also I did find, which is interesting, is that of course if I cut this blank down like that and put this in, it does lift up 2 of the levers, but it won't turn any further. And I was thinking, okay, what if I put this key in while the other key's in? So put this key in like that, turn it a little bit of the way while this key's in, and what I can do is get the levers to the point where the bolt can open, and then turn this. And I was like, well, actually, if I file this key down to the right point, these levers that are bouncing up and down shouldn't anymore. Does that make sense? So these are all at the correct height. So if this is lifting any levers up, they're overlifting them. So all I have to do is file down this key at the points where I'm seeing those levers pop up. And if you look at that key there now, can you see that there are some small marks just there representing where those levers are biting? So that is going to be the process. I'm going to pop this key in, turn it halfway, file off a little bit of this key, pop it in and keep going until this key then opens this side. Then I will have the operating key and I'll have the master key. So first things first, I'm using this very cheap diamond file. You might think, why? Well, it's because I found that it's actually about the right width of a lever step, more or less. It's good enough, right? So if it's good enough, it's good enough. So the first thing I do is I find that little mark from that first lever, and I just start going like this. And I can make sure, give it a little mark like that, I can make sure that it's going to be enough clearance. Yes, I think it is. So that's perfect. So I've got that one like that. So that'll be here. And then I have to do the one next to it. Now this is awkward because you can have two almost together like that. If I measure them together like this, like that, I think that we are, there, turn it for you, about right. Maybe a bit over on this one, but I can pull that back. Okay, so I don't know how much of this process I'll speed up for you, but the process goes like this. I take my newly filed blank, I pop that in, I turn it, I open the lock, then I turn this, and you can see that it's lifting these levers up very high. So there you go. So the key is turned like that. See, it's lifting that lever back up just as the bolt's about to go and do that. And I can see that it's levers. Can you see that? Bounce, bounce, bounce. It's levers 2 and 3. So I will take a little bit more off those.
One eternity later.
Look at that. Oh, that's a bit rough. But I think, let's take this key out and just check it all works. Look at that. It's a little bit notchy, but you know what? Let's have a look, see if there's any place where it says it's wearing. No, I'm totally happy with that, actually. It looks like a little notch on 2 and a little notch on 1. So I can just take another file, which is a bit smaller, and just take a little bit off these here. And then what I can do is just essentially just round off the tips of the like that. And the idea with this is what we're doing is we're just making it nicer on the levers themselves by rounding off everything. It makes it sort of catch less and should be a bit smoother. A bit of 1000 grit sandpaper. Just to give it a little polish up on the tips. Let's try this again. Yeah, a lot smoother. Look at that. Does that mean then I have 2 working keys, the operating key and the master key? I do. And there they are, both together. And you can see how they are very different in some regards. So overlay them like that. And you can just see how the first 3 cuts look very similar, but the last two are much higher on this, especially cut 5. So there you go, exactly what I was hoping for. Working keys for this amazing Dutch Lips. I think it's a water company padlock, and it's so cool to have this dual custody lock. It's just such a beautiful thing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video, something a bit different. If you did, leave a like. If you have any comments, leave them below. I read them all and reply to as many as I can. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. It really helps my channel out, and I'll see you all next time.